Introduction. The book, LiaoFan's 4 Lessons, was written in the 16th century in China by LiaoFan with the hope that it would teach his son, Tianqi, about destiny, how to differentiate good from bad, how to correct his faults, and how to practice good deeds to cultivate both virtue and humility. As an embodiment of his teachings, LiaoFan was living proof of their benefits, for he had changed his destiny. Learning to recreate destiny has long been of interest to those who believe that wealth or poverty, long life or short life, everything is destined. People who accomplished good deeds in their past lives will naturally enjoy wealthy and long lives now, while those who committed bad deeds in their past lives will undergo deprivations and short lives. However, there are exceptions. Destiny can be changed. If we were originally supposed to enjoy wealth and longevity in this lifetime, but have committed excessive bad deeds, then without waiting until the next life, we will become poor and have shortened lives. If we were originally supposed to undergo poverty and have short lives, but have accomplished exemplary deeds, we will become wealthy and have long lives. History provides many examples of this. Although everything that we have to go through in this life is the result of our thoughts and behaviour in our past lives, and has been predetermined, it is not rigid. We can still modify it with our current thoughts and behaviour. As Buddhists, we are taught to refrain from evil, to do good, and to purify our minds. This is the Dharma seal, our criteria to determine the genuineness of Buddhist teachings or truths. Buddhist sutras address principles and logic, and are spoken by 5 types of people. They are 1. Buddhas, in our case Buddha Shakyamuni; 2. His students; 3. Heavenly beings; 4. Immortals; and 5. Manifested beings. As long as what has been said conforms to the Buddha's teachings and does not contradict them, the Buddhas, with their great broad-mindedness, will recognize them as sutras. Thus we should regard and respect as a sutra any work that conforms to Buddhist principles. This applies to LiaoFan's 4 lessons. For although it is not a Buddhist sutra, we need to respect and praise it as one. This is especially so for this book, for it was certified and advocated by Master Yinguang, the 13th patriarch of the Pure Land School. In the early part of the 20th century, he dedicated his life to its propagation and was responsible for printing millions of copies, as well as studying, practicing, and lecturing on it. Not only can it help to serve as a foundation in our learning, but more importantly, it can also serve as a foundation for non-Buddhists in helping them to learn how to change their destinies. There is much to learn, including principles and methods, all of which are covered in this book. Although it is relatively short, its impact can be significant. Therefore, if we wish to change our destinies or truly achieve attainment through the practice of Buddhism, we would do well to accord with its guidance. There are 4 chapters or lessons in this book. The first lesson of learning to create destiny is about the law of cause and effect. The second lesson, the ways to reform, is developed from understanding causality. This third lesson of the ways to cultivate goodness is the primary lesson, that of cultivating and accumulating goodness. It is based on feeling regret and reforming our faults. The 4th lesson, the benefits of the virtue of humility, is the conclusion for the book. The first lesson, learning to change destiny. In this lesson, LiaoFan told his son, Tianqi, about his personal experiences and those of others. Wanting Tianqi to do his best in practicing goodness and ending his incorrect behaviour, to recreate and control his destiny and no longer be bound by it, LiaoFan taught him the principles of why things happen and how to change them. For example, as Pure Land practitioners, if we are able to follow this method, we are assured of attaining happy, fulfilling lives and of being reborn into the Western Pure Land. Mr. Kong's accurate predictions. My father passed away when I was young. My mother persuaded me to learn medicine instead of studying and passing the imperial examinations because it would be a good way to support myself while helping others. Perhaps I could even become famous through my medical skills, thus fulfilling my father's aspiration for me. In ancient China, the purpose of studying and passing the imperial examinations was to become a government official. Thus, to stop studying for the examinations was to give up any chance to work in the government. A career in medicine would enable one to have a skill that would provide a good living in addition to helping others. At that time, teachers did not charge a fee, but accepted whatever was offered. Wealthy families gave more, poor families gave less. As long as the student was sincere in honouring the teacher and respecting the teachings, the amount given was unimportant. The same applied to physicians. Their goal was to save lives, to do their very best to make others well. The payment for the services rendered was at the discretion of the patient. Both teachers and physicians were dedicated to helping others and were highly respected. One day I met an elderly but distinguished-looking gentleman at the Compassionate Cloud Temple. He had a long beard and the look of a sage. I immediately paid my respects to him. He told me, "You are destined to be a government official. Next year you will attain the rank of learned first-level scholar. Why are you not studying for this examination?" I told him the reason. This segment is about a turning point. LiaoFan's opportunity to learn how to change his destiny. It described his meeting an elderly gentleman who had a handsome countenance and was tall with an elegant celestial air, and who did not look like an average person. LiaoFan naturally paid his respects to him. Because the elderly gentleman could foretell the future, he knew that LiaoFan should have been studying and needed to do so as soon as possible. I asked the elderly gentleman for his name and where he was from. He replied, "My family name is Kong and I am from Yunnan province. I have inherited a very sacred and accurate text on astrology and prediction. The text, written by Xiaozi, is called the Imperial Standard of Governing the World. By my calculations, I am supposed to pass it on to you and teach you how to use it." Xiaozi was a scholar from the Song dynasty. He was a well-known and highly respected intellectual of his time. The sacred text on astrology is an in-depth book that has been compiled with others into the complete works of the four treasuries. The content of Xiaozi's book is completely in accordance with the principles in I Ching, the Book of Changes, and predicts the future through mathematical calculations. The predictions in the book cover numerous subjects, including changes in countries and the world, the prosperity or decline of a dynasty, the good fortune or misfortune of an individual could all be completely extrapolated from mathematical calculations. This book of profound knowledge is based on a precise science and is both logical and credible. Everybody and everything has a set destiny. Buddha Shakyamuni taught us that this is due to the law of causality. As long as we give rise to a cause, be it a thought, word, or act, a result that is a set destiny will follow. Only when the mind is devoid of thought can we transcend the predetermination of the mathematics. Why are practitioners with high levels of achievement often able to transcend? Having attained the level of one mind undisturbed, their minds do not give rise to any thoughts. As long as we have thoughts, our fates will remain bound by the mathematics. A highly skilled person is able to accurately predict our futures through calculations. Our lives are destined. Arhats, or other sages with a higher level of spiritual enlightenment, who have already transcended samsara, the six paths of existence, are able to transcend their destiny.